I used to play.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The keyboards, huh?
Yeah, I mean, just a little in high school, but then I really got into it in college. I mean, that's when I really found my sound.
Oh, God. Orange juice just came out of my nose, but it was totally worth it. Oh, my God. I completely forgot about your sound.
Yeah.
He used to lock himself in the basement for hours. No one was ever allowed to hear the sound.
I want to hear the sound.
483 episodes of spoilers, and we finally found our sound. This is Chandler Bing Spoilers.
Infinite time.
It's a jam.
Oh, man. Hey, this is Friends Spoilers. Actually, we're calling this Chandler Spoilers. And even deeper than that, we're calling it the Kathy Chronicles. But
Kathy Chronicles.
Today, on this episode of Spoilers, we are covering Season 4, Episode 7, the one where Chandler crosses the line. Before we get into the plot of the episode and final thoughts and yes or no's and maybe trivia if we have time, I want to introduce a couple people. We have some more friends. It's not just me and Brett this time. We have more friends. But before we get to you, Pappy, Brett, I want to know...
Yeah.
What is your... I kind of know this answer already because we're friends. But tell the studio audience here. Maybe your... to what depths have you dove into music in the past? Have you ever fancied being a musician?
Yeah, I'm sure you know all about this. I've always wanted to be a musician, but there's a little small hurdle that got in my way. I don't have any musical ability. At all. So,
You can sing.
No, I can't.
You're a great singer.
I could sing okay before 18 years of smoking, but I played the trumpet a little bit. It wasn't very good. I played piano senior year, and that's probably the best I ever got at anything, but I lost that. I tried to play guitar, which was just famously awful, and then I played a little bass in college as well, which I did okay at.
What happened to that bass?
I can't see... I think I sold it or gave it to my goddaughter, Paxton. Same with my keyboard, which I wish I could have back.
Gosh, I wanted that bass. Whatever. Pappy, thanks for joining us on this Chandler Spoilers episode. What have you gotten into in the past with music? Have you ever felt like you might start creating your own music? Your own sound?
My sound? I never found my sound. I wasn't even as good as Ross was at the experimental. I did a lot of I had a keyboard, so I played a lot with those buttons, like the pre-made sounds and stuff like that. That's what I was into.
What about helicopter sounds?
Ooh, Tom Morello.
And Brett, I think you're selling yourself short. I like your smoky voice when you sing, and you got a good falsetto too. So we're always blessed when you sing on the pod. But no, I was the worst viola player. I don't know, not good at music. But I'm glad to be here with you guys. Thanks for inviting me. It's fun. The pizza nail story is always a classic story. I'm glad it got told on the pod finally.
Pizza nails? What was that?
When Josh nailed the pizza to your ceiling or something.
Oh.
To the wall. Yeah. But anyway,
that's Josh for you.
Josh from Goshen. I still play guitar to this day, and I think I'm okay. I can usually figure out pop songs and get chord fingerings down and stuff. I'm not super inventive or super musically knowledgeable at all. But I think I actually chose this question for this episode because I think deep down inside, anyone that grew up watching Friends, you probably have a deep-seated fear musically of being the Ross or Phoebe and you don't know it. So
yeah, you think you're good?
Yeah, I feel like I do think I'm good, but I probably actually am way worse. So I'm just always trying to be really cognizant of that, unlike them.
All right, hold on. To the audience. Okay, so we lived with 5 people in college at any given time. Josh is better at guitar than all the rest of the people put together times like 10. So he's selling himself short. I used to play some What I Got by Sublime. And you always said my brother played guitar differently than you, right? He would learn like full songs and you like to learn like parts, right?
I don't know.
You said it to me once.
This is even making me uncomfortable, to be honest. Like
Dude,
starting to
no,
sweat.
You're good,
Awesome.
Josh.
You guys,
You're good,
you guys
Josh.
need to do like Josh plays the Friends theme on guitar and Brett sings it. That would really tie this whole Kathy Chronicles together. That would be.
I don't know about that.
amazing.
Oh man, let's get into season 4, episode 7, Proper Boys. I think that's enough of opening question. I'm sweating enough, wiping it off my brow a little bit. Okay, so the opening tag is not a Ross Rachel rivalry thing this time.
I just walked in the bathroom and saw Kathy naked. It was like torture.
You know, if we ever go to war and you're captured, you're in for a big surprise.
It just keeps getting worse and worse, you know? I mean, it's bad enough that I'm in love with my roommate's girlfriend, which, by the way, I think she knows, because every time we're in the same room together, there's this weird, like, energy between us. And call me crazy, but I think she likes me too. And now I have seen her naked.
We actually just have this little thing where Chandler sees Kathy like naked accidentally in the shower, which I feel like is something that kind of comes up in Friends quite a bit. They're always seeing each other naked accidentally.
A couple of them, yeah.
And then they all see Chandler.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a funny bit.
Do you think this would be putting yourself in Chandler's shoes? Do you think this would be torturous, like he says?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I can't. Hold on. Somebody else talk.
You okay, Brett?
Well,
Yeah, just that's not something I'm going to launch into right now.
What the
Wait,
hell?
what?
I knew something was up. It's too early in the pod, I guess, for it, Pap. I don't know.
I mean,
No, we're good.
I feel bad for Chandler in this one, guys. Like I said, I don't have a lot of Friends context, only the things that you guys had said. But the man's struggling. What a tangled web we weave.
I do feel bad with him, but I feel like I was going to bring this up to Josh. This is probably the first time in the Kathy Chronicles where Chandler does kind of, we haven't seen the kissing part, but before that, it's a little shady. He's kind of trying to push Joey into a different relationship, and he's just being a little, again, it's not too bad. But
I think you're getting there into Act 1, which is healthy, because that's outside of the tag. We find out that after the sweet, sweet theme song, which I held true, boys. Watch that, son of a bitch. What about you?
I skipped it.
Okay.
I like how it like they
Jeez.
line up the clap with Chandler hitting his head. That's pretty cool. I
Now
didn't-
that's some
that was the
class.
thing.
That's really where Friends falls into a good zone.
Kino editing.
Like Brett was saying, Joey is now juggling a couple of girls. Kathy, this is the Kathy Chronicles, but also Casey is now in the picture. And this is some of the most painful stuff for Chandler, right? Because like Joey's not even taking this seriously, and it's kind of dangling there right in front of him, right?
What is the big deal? It's not like we're exclusive.
Look, Joey, Kathy is clearly not fulfilling your emotional needs. But Casey, I mean, granted, I just saw the back of her head. But I got this sense that she's smart and funny and gets you.
You got all that from the back of her head?
Look, I just think it's time for you to settle down, you know? Make a choice. Pick a lane.
Who's Elaine?
I mean, like, he's got it thrown in his face, but, like, this is finally, like, a ray of hope for him. He has for about 3 seconds when he thinks that he's going to be able to swoop in, but no, Joey's just doing Joey things. I thought there was a really... This is when he's talking about Casey, right? I thought I wrote down a funny line. I think it's funny that he's talking about going out to dinner and then going out to another dinner. And then he goes, and the craziest thing is I just ate a whole pizza myself. Like, that cracks me up. But Heath really does think that's the craziest part, not him dating 2 women, but yeah.
The craziest part. Yeah.
Do you like Joey's game right now, Pappy? Where are you at with Joey? Because we've been kind of trashing on him for the last 2 episodes. Not as an actor or anything, but just like the character himself is like so clueless and not helpful so far.
Yeah. I am confused on how Joey sees Kathy. Like, I don't know. Like, can you be broken up with someone if you're not even exclusively dating? Like, at one part, he calls her his girlfriend, but then he's going out with another woman right before. It's like, even if you are going to date multiple people at once, to pull the double header in one night, that's kind of a level of like, eek. I don't know about that one.
I wonder, you think he told Kathy, like, why their date was then and that he was dating another girl, or?
I didn't get that feeling.
You two are married folk, so it's been a long time since you've been in the dating scene. I think my view on it is like, you have to assume non-exclusivity until that's been specifically said, right? Like,
yeah, that's a tricky thing about before. Like, literally a few months before I met my wife, I was actually like about to go on a date with 2 different people, and I'd always given people crap about, oh, it must be so terrible, but I hated it. I hated the feeling so much. I literally felt so guilty, and trust me, we weren't exclusive at all. I'd even gone out with one other girl. I hated the feeling of it. I felt like I was doing something wrong, but I just don't think Joey felt that way. Pap, were you? How many women have you dated at the same time?
oh boy. I don't know. I mean, maybe like 2 to 4 at one point.
Cat dog. Cat dog.
I think part of
Who's to
Joey's
say?
sadness too, like Joey gets broken up with, he's just not really like used to that. That comes a little later, but
Yeah.
I mean, exclusive or not, like, I don't know. He's hurt. But
Mhm.
this episode is a little unique because it doesn't have, like we joked about before, Brett, like episodes have A plot, B plot, C plot, D plot, maybe even an E plot, an F plot. This one really just has 2. And
2? Yeah.
And I'd like to get into the other one because pretty early on, Phoebe and Ross connect via surprising musical connection. Can you explain how that kind of plays out, Pappy?
Little tiny Tarzan swinging on a nose hair, swinging with the greatest of ease.
Yeah. Phoebe's jamming, doing her thing on the guitar. I think she's writing a song about Tarzan swinging on some nose hair or something. And she
Another
needs
terrible song.
She needs help. I don't know, going from verse to the bridge or connecting 2 verses. And Ross hits her with like a, what does he say? It's like a oh mommy wowie or oh ba ba ba.
Fa-la. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. And she's like, I didn't know you were into music. And apparently Ross had a whole phase that peaked in college where he had a sound.
Yeah, he's trying to find it.
Mm. Oh, he found it.
Oh, he got
found
it.
all right.
Darn it, I don't know how to get to the next verse.
Oh, you can just go, greatest of these, ba-ma-na-ma-na-ma, and then go right into it.
Yeah, ooh, I like that. Yeah, wait, how do you know about bananas?
You know, I used to play.
What is his sound, fellas? Because it's not too long before the rest of the friends have him convinced. Kind of like Pappy always does with Brett, convinces him to sing like every other pod at some point. Which
I hate it. I don't like it that much either. I don't think I'm a good singer. Like, even early on in that relationship, Brittany said I was the best singer that she knew, and I was like, you need to meet more people.
When did this become a thing on Spoilers? It really does seem like Brett sings like every second or third episode. But how would you all describe
Back in the day.
Ross's sound?
Well, Ross describes it as like a musical poem, I think, at some point.
A wordless poem.
Yeah. And this got me thinking about like good hands? Because I took like a music class in college, and at some point we had to listen to some like avant-garde music. I'm like, you know, if this was on good hands, would someone tell me this is good? You know what I mean? Like, is there anything there? Like, if you like really close your eyes and get into it, Josh, can you understand the story that he's trying to tell with the barks and the moos and the explosion?
No, he's using all the keyboard defaults, including like a generic don 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 don.
The bass is just walking around the block.
It definitely needs Adam Driver in the back. What is it?
Dude.
Outer space.
No, I don't think there's much. I do like when the laser sound go off and he kind of glances around quickly from side to side. I usually think that's funny. And he also
it's funny.
At the end, there's usually like an explosion or car crash or something, and he does this like smooth out thing with his hands to end it. It's like, very strange.
Wait for it. And now we're done. Like, I get enjoyment out of it, but like the enjoyment is pure. I think it's hilarious, and I know it's Ross. Like, there's no other enjoyment. Like, I'm a Ross. I love Ross, so love him or hate him, that's Ross.
I was thinking about how weird it would be to be walking around town listening to that music. And then our boy, Matthew Perry. I don't know. You guys are more Friends experts than me. Is Yoo-hoo a frequent beverage that's drank by
I know.
Yeah.
He had a Yoo-hoo. Yeah. I got a hankering for one as soon as I saw it. Oh, it sounds so good.
Wouldn't you say Chandler, they drink Yoo-hoo a lot?
He likes...
Early on, yeah. But that was also Seinfeld, isn't it?
I think you're right. Yeah. Interesting. I noticed we mentioned Seinfeld on one of these other pods. They do mention the name Elaine. I don't know if that's enough to be a Seinfeld reference, but when he's trying to tell him to pick between Casey and Kathy, he says, pick Elaine. And Joey's like, who's Elaine? And he's like all excited.
He wants to sleep with her too.
God bless my dad for soundproofing the basement.
Oh, I can't believe I ever let him touch me with those fingers. What are you guys talking about? I loved it. It was so moving. Oh, plus, it's so different from the stuff you usually hear.
You mean music?
I think that's like the little tag here at the end of Act 1 is that this twist that everyone recognizes Ross's music as terrible, but Phoebe likes it. Is this not an M. Night Shyamalan twist to you guys? Like, I kind of like what we're starting to get into with this.
I love that she loves his music, though.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I was saying, I do think that's the end of, quote, Act 1. I'm trying to kind of plot this out into acts. It was kind of fun to do. Act 2 would begin with Chandler and Kathy. All of a sudden, they're alone in the apartment. Maybe you can explain why this is, Brett. We kind of talked about it earlier, but what happens here?
Hey! Oh, God. Is that Baywatch?
Yes, but I just watch it for the articles.
So is Joey around?
No, he's not back yet, but he's going to be here any minute. So come on in, have a seat. Bow or stern?
I don't really have a preference. You?
I like it in the stern. Of the boat.
So he's at home watching Baywatch, which him and Joey are wont to do. They love doing that. And then Kathy comes in, and then probably my favorite line of this whole episode was she goes, "Oh, is this Baywatch?" She goes, "Yeah, I just watch it for the articles." I think that's a really funny line. But so they're kind of waiting around, and as Chandler teased earlier in the episode, the very beginning, he like falling in love with her, but he thinks that she might be into him too. So we're kind of getting that you could say chemistry, but it's more like sexual tension. And then another funny line goes, this is Brittany liked this line. He said, stern or bow, or front or stern or whatever. And he goes, I like it in the stern. And he goes, of the boat. That's another funny line. It's a typical Chandler line. But I think that's where they leave it off, right? They would just he invites her to sit down, or
is that a homophobic joke? It's okay.
I don't think it's homophobic. That. He says he likes it in the stern.
It's just like it is like that's a poor choice of words. I mean, it's not homophobic. It's just, I guess it's based off of a homosexual misunderstanding, but it's not something to be offended by, Josh, I promise you.
Also, can I just say, as someone non-initiated in Friends, like, to just be dropped in, their apartment is wild. They got chickens and ducks running around. There's a canoe in the middle of it. It's just funny.
They got robbed because Joey, he bet somebody that he couldn't fit. He was trying to sell this humongous entertainment center that he made, and in the paper he put fine Italian craftsmanship. And it was too big, and Chandler made him get rid of it. So he bet this guy who was there looking at it that he couldn't fit inside. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna. And then once he gets inside, the guy puts a hockey stick in the door handles and locks him in, and he literally steals everything they have. So that's kind of like the part you get later on, because it was 2 recliners and, a TV and all that stuff like that. So that's where that comes from. But yes, the chicken and duck have been there for a while.
So we get a stretch of episodes here where the set is kind of wacky looking with just a canoe in the center of it. It's a vibe for sure. And I love in this, the Kathy Chronicles really takes a lot of leaps forward here. We're chewing on a lot of meat because you kind of already broke it down a little bit, Brett, but it goes from just talking and biding their time for Joey to her giving him a haircut, to her blowing on his neck, to them gazing into each other's eyes, to almost kissing. And then Pappy,
the phone's making noise.
I feel like some of the best parts of this episode, and I know you're a Friends outsider, but where Chandler and her are kind of like going in and out of the door of the apartment. I feel like that's good stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. When he's like, "Are you still there?" And she's like, "Yeah." She really did forget her purse. I mean, yeah, Brett was touching on it earlier. It is sparks are flying during that haircut. Sexually charged. But yeah, no, it's good stuff. Like, I'm rooting for these 2 kids when I'm watching this. Now, I almost expected the audience to do kind of like a ooh when they kiss, but they don't. It's just quiet. I think it goes to the commercial after that. You're left to wonder.
Yeah. You are left to wonder.
I don't think you're really left to wonder. They come out of the commercial and they're still like kissing. So I think it's pretty clear it never.
Oh, are they? Oh, okay.
It never went further than that.
Well, they wondered for a few minutes.
Well, I wondered if they did more than kiss. That gets answered later, but
yeah, it gets later. That's a good point, Pat.
When it fades to black on a kiss, you kind of wonder, like, well, what happened next?
But they do kiss, and this is where I mean, even in Joey's mind, I think this is where he crosses the line. I don't think the emotional cheating or the almost kissing or the haircut, any of that really would have bothered Joey, to be honest. But it's a romantic kiss, and he is going to find out about that later. But first...
Electrifying. Infinite time.
There's a Starbucks about 3 blocks down.
So inspired. Just look at him. Look at him go.
We got gotta stop by storyline B here just for a second, boys. Ross has busted out his new song, Infinite Time, and Phoebe comes Phoebe comes to the conclusion that she can no longer perform in public. Brett, right?
Oh yeah, she was gonna have a set afterwards, but she said that's like the chimps something dancing or something going on after the Beatles. So Ross is the Beatles, and
in her mind,
Phoebe's the chimps. Yeah, in her mind, yeah.
I think
she just can't do it anymore. She's just like, I can't play. He's so good, I can't play.
I love that bit because I love all this meta music stuff. I think it's just really funny. Unlike the sickness meta stuff they tried to pull off a couple episodes, Brett, where she's sick and she quote sounds good. That doesn't work. Everything here,
my sticky shoes.
I love what's happening here, but maybe what made me laugh the most is this little part at the end of Act 2. Phoebe sits down with Rachel and Monica, and she says, Ross isn't even appreciated in his own time because they're like, hey, you can play. Ross sucks. Like, Monica says that. It's so funny. And Monica wishes that people hated her too. So you get this little moment, and I'm sure I'll play the clip, but like, Monica and Rachel are just chewing the scenery, finally being able to tell Phoebe how they really feel about her music. I love this part.
Phoebe, Ross sucks. Phoebe, the place has emptied because of him.
Oh my God, he's not even appreciated in his own time. I would give anything to not be appreciated in my own time.
Okay. Phoebe, you suck too. Yeah, Phoebe, you're awful.
You guys. Yeah, you suck too.
It is good. It's like I don't know if it was like cathartic for them or if they really were hoping that Phoebe would take to it, but and she's like, oh, you girls. Like, she thinks they're just trying to prop her up, but yeah, she's just bad.
They finally say what we've all been thinking for years, basically.
Yeah, she's terrible. And luckily, again, they kind of go away from that in later seasons, at least a little bit, so.
We enter Act 3, and Pappy, you may notice that the era of the canoe has already come to a close here.
Yeah, the audience here is genuinely impressed with the opening up TV.
The studio audience, live studio audience.
Yeah, he's got a couple Barca loungers. He's got a TV that comes out of nowhere, like Joey says. I think he also bought the foosball table. I think that's new.
Ooh.
Right? So I mean, he's dropping some
the
coin.
foosball table? Yeah, who needs a
so.
savings account?
Yeah. Which I know Chandler's like a successful guy in the show, but that's like $5,000 worth of stuff back then. You know, he's really dry. He feels really bad.
You could start 10 businesses with that money per calculations on a previous episode.
10 catering businesses. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty sweet setup that they've got here. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty jealous.
Definitely.
Before we get to this moment where Chandler comes clean, we have a great scene again, I think, Brett, where Chandler is trying to get advice from the other friends and comes clean to them first about the kiss.
So good.
What do you like about it?
Yeah. So it's first of all, it just shows that Joey does have some warts. You know, he's a chronic ladies' man, and he's not very smart, but like he's got a really good heart. And Chandler tells the group that he kissed her, and they're like, "Oh no, it's terrible." And they're like, "You need to tell him." And then was it Ross who said the crazy part is if he probably would have just told Joey about it before he kissed her, he would have probably backed away and backed off. And Chandler's like, "Oh no, don't say that. That's not true." And they're all like, "Yeah, he loves you." And then he's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And Ross goes, I mentioned it to Phoebe the other day. It's like, "Oh yeah, I thought that was a great idea."
I really love
really
that.
Funny.
And I also love the writing here in general. And the way they word that, the way Ross says it is, I think Joey probably would have stepped aside. I don't know. Something about that struck me. I don't know. Yeah,
for sure. And it's, I would say it's true. I mean, he even says it afterwards when he said, "It's okay. It's because you came to me first." And then obviously we'll get to that, but
Pappy, do you like the scene where Chandler tells the friends this? Because I feel like we're getting a lot of classic Friends vibes here. You're learning a lot about the characters. Everyone's kind of pitching in a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I think you guys even mentioned that on an earlier episode, that if Chandler would have just told Joey, he would have, quote, stepped aside or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. I think, doesn't Monica say at one point, like, you don't screw your friends over very often, which, like, we're all appreciative of or something?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, it's good.
We kind of smash cut from that to Joey smashing some Sambuca drinks, which that's a really disgusting alcohol. Yeah, that's really, really bad. if you know alcohol.
I've never had it.
Well, you've never had Sambuca?
I don't think so.
It's kind of like a black licorice-y. My dad likes to press it on people because it's so disgusting.
Well, your dad in the dugout had, to this day, still the grossest alcohol I've ever had in my entire life.
Which was?
And we couldn't even look up what it was because it was like Russian. It was like that pear. It was that pear liqueur.
No,
I don't know.
I can taste it in my mouth right now. I don't remember its name, obviously.
It's so gross.
Yeah, that was terrible.
This was another question that I raised. I wanted to ask you guys: do they drink a lot on Friends? Because obviously, like later on sitcoms, How I Met Your Mother, they're always in a bar. But I don't know. I feel like
definitely
they don't
not
drink a lot.
No, they don't. They do have they'll sometimes have a beer, especially Joey and Chandler. They'll sit and drink a beer. And there's a joke later on in the series that Central Perk used to be a bar, and they were like, "Oh my god, a coffee shop! It's so freaking lame." And that's ended up being the most iconic set, Central Perk. So, I mean, they get drunk sometimes. Monica gets drunk on her 30th birthday. It's really funny. They obviously all get drunk at Ross's wedding in England. So, but no, it's not really. I wouldn't say it's a common.
I think their stance on weed is kind of telling too. Like from what I remember, Brett, the only time I think they mentioned it that I can remember off the top of my head is like Monica tells her parents that Ross smoked weed like twice in college, and it's like kind of a big deal.
Shows have things that they're known for. I think Office is known for like their Christmas episodes. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is known for their Halloween. Friends is known for their Thanksgiving episodes.
Yeah.
And that's one of their episodes where they're trying to tell Monica's parents that they're together, but her parents don't like Chandler. And they don't really know why. It's because Ross didn't know either, but then she found out that Ross got caught in the dorm smoking weed. And when his parents smelled it, he said it was Chandler.
That's funny.
So that's why they don't like him. And she goes, "Oh, I think he's high again." And Ross goes, "Chandler, I need to talk to you." And he goes in the room and he tells her that. So yeah, then they always the mailman didn't steal your Playboys, Dad. Ross did. Yeah, it's really funny.
I think what I was trying to illuminate though, as open as this show is about sex, it's pretty uptight about drugs and alcohol, I think.
Well, it's like if this show took place in 2023, like Phoebe would be hitting the Pendreman all the time.
Yeah, you're probably right. Well, Chandler would, because Chandler's got multiple storylines where he's a smoker, and he was a smoker in real life. So
Joey's in this apartment. He's drinking sambuca. He's down in gummies. He's doing everything he can to ease the pain. We get
still watching the Linda Hamilton Wonder Woman, like just a total vibe.
2023. He's watching Hamilton live show. I don't know, but he's
sure.
Let me just set the scene a little bit. He's drinking because Kathy broke up with him. We don't see the scene where they break up, but she told him there was someone else that she was interested in. She can't go on. And Chandler, kind of while getting this news, tells Joey that he likes Kathy. So we're getting a lot of information passed already between the two that we've been waiting 2 or 3 episodes to happen, right, Brett?
Yeah. So he gets the blessing from Joey, but Joey, being the guy he is, he basically gives Chandler warning. He's like, hey, I just got to give you a heads up, as I think she likes somebody else, because she mentioned that. And that's when Chandler realizes he's got to tell him. He was going to tell him anyway. I don't know. I think he might have told him eventually, but it almost seemed like, oh, they're broken up. I don't have to tell him. But after that, he says, yeah, I'm the other guy. When you didn't come home the other night,
Yeah, I mean, when you were late last night, Kathy and I got to talking, and one thing led to another, and...
And what? Did you sleep with her?
No, I just kissed her.
What? That's even worse.
How is that worse?
I don't know, but it's the same.
Look, I'm sorry, but there's nothing I could do. I think I'm in love with her.
Who cares? You went behind my back? I would never do that to you.
You're right. I have no excuses. I was totally over the line.
Over the line? You're so far past the line that you can't even see the line. The line is a dot to you.
Yes, right. And I feel horrible. You have to believe me.
I like that Joey's the kind of guy who's gonna like bake bread too. You know, he's got like a nice, what do you say, like a cinnamon bread or something like that in the bread maker. Like, he's just a good dude.
He's kind of dealing with his breakup like a girl, if you think about it. He's drinking a margarita. He's like eating ice cream or baking bread, whatever, you know, like it's fine.
Of all the people you said like a girl, Josh.
I just think that's funny.
Like, come on, bro.
That's why I have a hard time feeling bad for Joey. It's like, but dude, you went out with another girl that same night. Like, I don't know.
They weren't exclusive, and it's bros before hoes.
He was so surprised, Pappy. Like, you could see it in his face. Like, he couldn't believe that Chandler, he left him alone with his girlfriend in the apartment. Like, you would be pissed too. Come on.
Oh, total violation of the bro code. But I just am more saying, like, he's all bummed that his quote girlfriend broke up with him, but he's smashing 2 girls and a pizza on the same night.
Yeah, that's
like,
weird.
I don't know. He's got a lot of things going on in his life.
He does.
I have a note here that where he says, you haven't crossed the line. You're so far past the line. The line is a dot to you.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that exemplifies just how Matt LeBlanc is actually doing an awesome job at being comical while being mad and like hurt. He's really juggling this well here. And I think this is like the first really good Joey scene we've gotten in 3 episodes, if I'm being honest.
This probably became eventually one of his more iconic things.
We've been ripping on Joey for how he can't observe anything. And he suddenly, it's a small thing, but he suddenly observes that Chandler had tried to kind of bribe his happiness with the TV set and the furniture.
That's good acting. Good acting too, when he, like, his eyes.
It
like,
is.
You could tell, you could see it.
Pappy, do you think something that's really complex and I've never really understood about Friends is that Joey, he's dating 2 girls, he's sleeping all over town, but he also has this like naive innocence to him that's sincere.
Yeah. Mm.
How is that juggling? Is that working for you? Is that a thing?
Yeah, because I feel like Joey would never want to like hurt, you know, emotionally any of the people that he's with. He's just kind of this like pure jock soul, you know, like he's like, it's I don't know. Matt LeBlanc performance is that he just creates this character that's so real. You know,
it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you knew this or not. Pap, but it is kind of extra funny that Joey's such a, I want to say ladies man, but it's more like just a whoremonger. I don't know, because they're from a pretty conservative-ish Italian Catholic family. He worships his mom, and he's the only boy, and he's got 7 younger sisters. So he's like, I don't know why he went the other way, but it's not like he doesn't respect women. It's just, you'd think he would be, but I think that just makes another cool layer for him. That's what Joey wants to do.
No, I didn't. You saying Matt LeBlanc is actually like that? That's what you're saying?
No.
Oh.
Joey's character.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know anything about Matt LeBlanc.
I think that concludes the episode proper. You know, Chandler comes clean, and we're end with a huge cliffhanger. And like,
oh yeah,
I know we've had more dramatic things in Friends with Richard and Monica, and Richard and Monica again, and I guess Rachel and Ross, whatever. But like, seeing Joey mad as it fades to black is a little heartbreaking. That's a tough Friends watch. You really hate to see that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No music either. Just like a quiet fade to black. Roll credits.
I mean, you get some music at the end.
Yeah. But in that moment, it's just
with Ross.
We need to have like Vince McMahon doing that thing with tears in his eyes, and he's like, "Cut the cameras." Like, this is emotional
it's so
shit.
Crazy how quick how memes come and go. Like, I literally saw that meme 300 times in like a week.
It's such a great meme.
And then now we don't see it anymore.
But guys, great news. The episode's actually not over. Like any Friends, like any loyal Friends episode, it has an epilogue here. I love this one because I'll let one of you guys explain it. Just whoever wants to can jump on it. But we get more meta music shit here as Ross plays his final performance.
Oh my God, he's lost it. He's totally lost it.
Well, he's lost it. He's lost his sound. And he quote bombs up there. And even Phoebe's like, no, that wasn't that good. And it gives her the confidence to go back on. And then he goes over to Monica and Rachel. And they think he's been playing bad on purpose the whole time. He's like, no, I just bombed just now. For her.
Last song.
Yeah.
Like I could lose it.
And to our ear, undiscernible between that song and any of the other songs that he's played. It sounds the exact same. I love the hand motion he does too for the explosion. Like, wait for it. And then,
yeah.
That is kind of similar to the Phoebe sick versus not sick, and Ross bombing versus not bombing. Is like, to the audience listener, us at home, it all is just like shit music.
It's all bad, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you were trying to play bad this whole time.
Yeah, no, just that last song.
Well, I really like that episode. I feel like I played my cards really out front of my chest here. But what are your guys' final thoughts on season 4, episode 7, the one where Chandler crosses the line?
all right, just a couple really quick ones. Like I said, I feel like being a Friends outsider, maybe I noticed things that you guys didn't, like the production design. I didn't mention the drawing of a monster that's like hanging in their apartment. Like it's like this green monster face. And just one other thing too is like the costumes. Like occasionally they have some fucking drip. Like they look really good. But then in the first scene, like Ross is wearing a suit that's like David Byrne levels big on him. So I don't know. I just find it interesting. Like sometimes it looks really, really good still, and sometimes it doesn't. And then last final thought, my favorite joke was the payphone cutting out and Joey just stops talking.
It's so good.
Like, dude,
Joey,
that got
yeah.
me. I thought my time was gonna stop. That one got me really hard. I laughed.
Yeah, it's really
I laughed
funny.
quite a bit at that one.
So another like little inside joke that you'll see, Pat, when you watch Friends, is the little etch. I don't know if it's not an etch a sketch, but
Yeah.
the sketch thing on the door. There's always little notes there, and there were two different ones. And some of them are funny, some of them are ridiculous, and they don't make any sense. It's just a funny little running gag. But my last line that I thought, probably my second favorite line of the whole show, it is Chandler's always reminded me of my friend Gray, and it's such a like a Gray line. She says, you have such amazing hair," and he goes, "Thanks, I grow it myself." Like that's like the type of corny humor that I think is really funny. So I thought that was a funny line. That's pretty much. Actually, yeah. Josh, I've owned the DVDs. I don't remember this at all. Like you were talking about only like two, like an A and a B plot. According to IMDb, there was a whole third subplot that was taken out, and it's like the weirdest sounding thing. I can't even like picture what it's about. You want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay. The uncut DVD version of the episode features an extra subplot where Rachel starts eating out by herself. She starts to enjoy it so much that she blows off a date with a doctor. Monica later convinces Rachel to change her mind.
Definitely seen
However,
that.
the doctor silently rebuffs her when he sees Rachel eating out by herself. I must have, because, I mean, Drew had these playing nonstop in college.
I was picturing Drew's
But that's
room.
like such a weird storyline.
It makes sense because, like, I don't think the writers would choose to leave Jennifer Aniston out of the main storylines for 2 episodes in a row.
In 98, she was a monster. Like, you know.
Yeah.
And kind of to follow our plot that we were talking about, you know, Monica did have a bit of a storyline last episode, but man, she is, like I said in the first episode, she's right in between like big storylines. It's so weird to see her kind of like not doing anything. Phoebe's getting so much more play in this season. Than
like
even Monica.
Knowing that Monica and Rachel, Courtney Cox and Jennifer Aniston are such huge stars, but in some of these episodes are just playing kind of the supporting roles. Something about that adds to like the comfort of watching this. It's like they're just,
first of all, it's an amazing ensemble cast.
It's like they're just hanging out, and it's cool. I don't know. They don't. I don't know. I don't know if that's coming across, if you know what I'm talking about, Pappy, but I'm feeling it.
They have like, I don't know, it's like a starting 5 on a basketball team where everyone's a fucking sicko. And from game to game, different people can just go off. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
It doesn't feel like it's like, oh, damn, this is I don't know, a Monica episode. Like, do you guys feel that at all? Like, are there episodes of Friends where if it's like someone takes the lead, you're kind of like, meh, I don't really care about. I've heard people say it about Phoebe, maybe. Or Phoebe episodes?
Phoebe's got some pretty, I mean, she's my least favorite character, but she's got some really funny storylines and funny lines. But she has a lot more storylines, I feel like, in the first half of the series, like with her mom, her stepmom, her dad, she was homeless, living on the street, just stuff like that. But no, again, you usually have 2 big storylines, at least 2 big storylines, so it doesn't really feel that way. But, I mean, yeah, I guess I would say Phoebe storylines are some of my lesser ones, but I can't think of anything offhand.
I think it's just an interesting dynamic, too, that Ross delves into this music thing for one single episode in all these seasons and dips out. And that's kind of her thing always. But this is such a classic part.
But
like, I don't know. I wonder if
it does get retconned. It does get retconned a little bit, though, Josh.
It does.
Because you find out later on that him and Chandler were in a band.
Yeah, that's right. Like a flock of seagulls looking band. But my only final note that I had was that there is a complete break from the Phoebe and Monica's catering business storyline here.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lesser critic would be bothered by such, but I feel like I admire the writing that they're just free to kind of like let go of that if they don't really need it for an episode, and trust that the audience can float that themselves like an episode or 2 later. I actually really do like that.
Well, we talked about it. This Kathy Chronicles is 4 crazy episodes, and then she's gone for like 3 episodes, and they like barely mention her at all. Like, so yes, they can, and then she comes back, and then she's gone, then she comes back. So they do that, and I guess that's the benefit of having 6 main characters. You can kind of bounce around.
Is that surprising to hear, Pap? You just got dropped into this episode. Monica and Phoebe have a catering business, thriving and surviving out there.
No, I heard you mention on the last episode. Yeah, no mention of that at all in this one.
Actually, Pat, that's funny that you mentioned the storylines because if you look at pretty much any top 100 TV episodes of all time, there's always going to be one Friends episode, and it's always going to be the one with Phoebe's embryos, the one with the embryos. And it's a Phoebe episode, but her part is like a D-, and everything else that's going on, the game show, is like A+, the best stuff they've ever done. Like, so like she's like the title character, but not the main character in that episode. And if you do see that one, that's like the most famous one. I've literally seen it in like TV Guide's top 100 episodes of all time. Like that's their episode, the one with the embryos, which is 5 episodes from now.
Well, and like, I don't know, not to say they didn't have any egos, but for a show like Friends to carry 6 main characters, to pass the ball around, to have like the collective like bargaining of, oh, we're all gonna get $1 million an episode. Like so many other shows, like so many other super teams would fall apart. You know what I mean? There's only one ball on the team.
Especially with like a Jennifer Aniston who, like they all had success during periods. Like we're actually coming up on Matthew Perry's like big whole 9 yards success. But like Rachel was famous pretty much from the jump. She had like the most iconic female hairstyle of the 90s. She was like the fashion icon. Like you're talking about why their clothes look so good. It's because they put just like whatever was hot, figuratively and literally, on her and on them. So yeah, it is crazy. And the fact that she can do an episode, I know like, oh, Rachel, we're going to cut your entire storyline out. Oh, well. And it's like, oh yeah, I got paid $1 million. I'm okay. Plus I love all these people. So it's cool. That's what I do like about this show. Yeah, I mean, we've seen it before. Like West Wing is a show that Rob Lowe was supposed to be. Rob Lowe and Moira Kelly were like the centerpieces of the show. But people love Martin Sheen so much that they completely wrote Moira Kelly out after the first season, and Rob Lowe ended up leaving after a few seasons because he wasn't the main guy. So it does happen, and I love that it didn't happen here. Obviously, it didn't happen in Seinfeld and shows like that. So
Josh is almost like a podcast that rotates hosts going 500 episodes, you know? You gotta...
Yeah.
Can't,
you always wonder which one of the spoiler men is the Phoebe of the group. You know, you hate to see it. You hate to think about it, but let's get into yes or no's here, boys. Brett, show Pappy how it's done for these Friends episodes. We give the yes or no, but we also give a letter grade.
So I think my first one was a B+, and then I said a B, right? Or did we flip-flop that?
Is a B, then a B, then a B. Let me get it straight for you, but you have a B, then a B+, and we both have those same ratings so far.
Yeah, appreciate it. Well, this one to me is, this one's an A, like an A-, a lower A-. It's kind of contingent on the next episode. Like they're almost a combination episode, and they're both really good. Like I think it's an 8.6 on IMDb, and the next one's like a 9. So that's like two of the highest ones. So yeah, I'm gonna go with an A-, maybe a lower A-, but I thought the jokes were really good, and 2 storylines was nice. We got to focus on a lot of it. So definitely an A- for me. And it's a definite yes. I like this episode quite a bit.
So what's the final letter grade?
A-.
Oh, I thought you said A-.
B+, A-, A-.
Okay.
No, A-.
Okay,
no.
okay. Pap?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for inviting me on. This is fun.
Love it, Pap.
To do with you guys. Yeah, I'll go definite yes. I'm right there with Brett. B+, A-. Like, you know, maybe not an iconic episode of TV,
right,
but I laughed a lot. Like, in it, you know, I haven't watched something like this, like a 20-minute sitcom on streaming in a while, and it just goes down real easy. It's just really nice to watch. Like, I want to keep watching more Friends after this, you know? So, yeah. Funny characters, funny moments. Definite yes. Official letter grade B+, I'll say.
The original binge, like, Pap, I don't know if you were around during Netflix in college, but we had DVDs. We had box sets, and this is how you binged. like you said, 20-minute episodes. You could watch 2 whole seasons in like a full day if you were really on it. So it's awesome.
If you're on your
Just
game.
like get to change discs every once in a while.
Yeah, you gotta get up a change disc. That does stink.
This is Josh from
I'm not saying it's better than.
All right. This is Josh from
Sorry,
Goshen.
done.
I love this so much. I love how you mentioned Pap and how you were just getting at Brett, like how fast this is, and it's still over 20 minutes, and I swear it's even faster than that when you watch it. It's unbelievable. It's like magic time. There's just 2 subplots and it flies by. I watched this episode like a couple times in preparation for the pod, and it was like no big deal at all. I think this episode has an extra special place in my heart because of, like, as a pseudo musician myself, the Ross and Phoebe storylines like really touch my heart in a special way. There's not many weaknesses here. This is a solid A for me. I feel like even the IMDb rating is like a little low, even though it's like pretty high for a Friends episode. I really like this episode. And the good news is it seems like we have even better episodes to come somehow, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
I digress, y'all. I actually do have trivia if you guys have one more minute before we sign off our Skype.
Yeah, that's fine. Also, Josh, this also strikes a chord for you because you've also had a best friend steal a girl from you, so.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, he had listened to that episode and kind of yelled at me for that.
Did he?
So I'm.
Oh, really? So edit that out, Josh. I'm sorry. I was wondering. I'm like, he's going to listen to this. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm definitely not editing it out. Okay, let's get to the trivia here. Brett, I'm gonna make you guess first, just because you're kind of the expert. I feel like so. I had been asking you questions about who or how many. What have they been? How many IMDb
credits? Yeah, which I completely forgot.
The first episode, it was
for like a specific actor.
Yeah, the first episode, it was Rachel's dumb boyfriend, Josh. And in the second episode, it was Rebecca Romaine. She had like 61 total acting credits, which is kind of low, I feel like. But
yeah,
I'm going a different direction because I feel like you probably studied every character in this episode and know.
I didn't.
But you probably know anyway how many appearances they have. So I love the trivia I pulled down for tonight. I've been harping on, do you watch the theme song all the way through every episode? Do you really watch it? Do you really? And so here's my question for you, Brett. Besides for scenes... Okay, here's the question. How many insert shots are there when they play the theme song? So that's any shot.
You mean that art shots?
Any shots from an episode.
Oh.
But they're not shots that are like that the couch and the umbrella scene outside with like the water in the fountain. It's not from that. It's just insert shots.
So I'm doing actual insert shot. Okay. Ooh, wow. Oh, man.
And it's only all I have numbers for is season 4, episode 7. I just counted them all.
Yeah. Wow. Because they actually do longer depending on when you watch it. This is a full intro, man.
I feel like there's an episode where, like, you know how Pappy said when they do the clap, 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 it shows Chandler hitting his head. I think later on it's like cut, and it's like, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like there's a lot of.
They change that all the time,
Right.
Oh man, I've gone from one number to another number to another number. It gets lower every time.
Do your math out loud, please. I love it when you do. What are you thinking here?
So, my original guess was 50, and then I got it down to 42, and then 38, and I don't really have a reason why, other than it's probably 90. It's probably 60 seconds, and each clip's probably 2 seconds long. Ooh, man.
But don't forget that the umbrella scenes don't count. I just want to make that clear.
I'm doing math backwards now. I'm down to 35. I'm going to go with an even 30.
That's a good guess. That was exactly the math I was doing. A minute, probably about 2 seconds. I'll say 24.
What are your guesses again?
We're way
30?
off, Josh.
What'd
30
you
and
say?
24. We're way off.
You guys aren't way off. I have to like do the math in my head. You guys are so close.
27?
28?
Guys, I was hoping someone would at least think that it would be divisible by 6 because that's how many friends there are.
So
and you both chose
said
numbers
30 and I said 24.
right?
Yeah.
And you both would have been wrong, but I was hoping you would have at least mentioned that. The actual number is 26 insert shots. Pap, you edged him
nice,
out
Pat.
for the win.
Nice job.
Oh, man. We were right around it. Good guess.
Yeah, that's
Good
pretty
guess.
cool.
Guesses were excellent. I loved hanging out with you guys, potting tonight as friends. Matthew Perry, still miss him. This is our kind of ode to him. Love doing these Friends episodes. Hopefully we'll get this one out quick, although it's kind of running long, boys. This is like an hour-long episode. These are supposed to be
long.
Come on. Anyway, Pappy, thanks for joining us tonight. What's your hot take as you toss it to Spoiler Friend?
Well, yeah, again, thanks for having me on. Hot take. Listen, I hate David Zaslav as much as anybody in the whole wide world. I can't fucking stand the man. But I thought it was really weird how everybody was going to bat for the fucking Wile E. Coyote movie starring John Cena. Like, no one on film Twitter was going to actually go see that fucking movie. Sounds like it might go to streaming, so that might be cool. But just a weird take, I felt like, from everybody else and rallying around that movie. But thanks again for having me on. Take it away, Spoiler Man.
Special thank you to our patrons, Druid King,
I kissed Kathy.
Brother Brian,
You obviously haven't screwed over a lot of your friends.
Matt Troll,
If you had told him how you felt before you kissed her, knowing Joey, he probably just would have stepped aside.
Nick,
Oh, don't say that.
the Meg,
Don't say that. That's not true, is it?
the Wolf,
What am I gonna do?
Nurse Stacy,
Sambuca margarita?
Barky 420,
I like her.
Spencer,
Well, your timing couldn't be better.
Gail,
I like her a lot, actually.
PK,
You know why? Because you came to me first.
Dr. Lars, Swole, Cheese Zombie,
Listen to spoilers. There we go.
That was Spoilers.